and send a new link. Oh my God, come on. Internet out here sucks. I'm here. If anybody's on there, I'm over at the computer. I'm trying to figure out my Wi-Fi so we can get that going. Save. And let's get a new link, put it over on Facebook. Edit. Well, maybe. Check. Edit. All right. Close. Paste it. All right, I'm just sharing a new link in the sick bagger page because something happened. I don't know. My Wi-Fi dropped. Something. Do I have anybody on here? Ah, some of you guys came back. Cool. So I don't know what the hell's going on with my phone. I don't have it hooked to the Wi-Fi. I thought I did. But yeah, something happened. The whole freaking thing just turned off and it made me start a new one. So glad to see some of you come back. And I don't even remember what the hell I was talking about. Sturgis, I think. Yeah, so Sturgis, wild trip. It was fun. Got to meet a lot of cool people. So I just keep tapping this. It'll bring the chat up, but that's what screwed it up last time. Yeah. So what's cool is, like, when I'm shooting the videos for the YouTube channel, I do use this wireless mic setup that's hooked to my main camera, and I can't even count the times that I've recorded an entire section of just how to do something and then realize I didn't turn my microphone on. So that's always a good time, because then I have to just cut the camera and go back and take whatever the last thing I did. I have to undo that and then reshoot it again, because I absolutely hate doing voiceovers. They don't ever sound the same, and it just literally sounds like you're doing a voiceover. So, but I think we've got everything hooked up. With this phone, I had to order some crazy cable off of Amazon to make it work with this wireless setup. But anyway, yeah, so if you weren't on the first one, we talked a little bit about the Advan Black contest that's going on. It's got about a week left where you can win an entire 10 set for your bike. You pick the color. It's on the El Sueño airbrush. And so that's pretty cool. We got about a week left on that. And then just kind of updating everybody on what's been going on with us. We haven't had the time to really shoot any videos, and that sucks because I miss doing it and talking to everyone and trying to stay caught up. Hey, no problem, man. I appreciate you guys. I see a lot of people at rallies, and there's a lot of you can tell a lot of people will look at me and be like, I know that guy, and then they just walk off. They don't say anything. Like, by all means, man, stop us and say hi, because you guys you guys see me, but I don't see you. So unless I, I've looked at your profile or whatever on Facebook because you're in the group, but you just like it's cool meeting everybody. I think everybody sees me all the time in the videos, and they're like, oh, I know that guy, but like by all means, like I said, just stop and talk to us. That's what we're there for, just to meet people and hang out. It's a good time. On the contest, I don't know why this just keeps going away. I can't even get my chat to come up now. There it is. On the Joel, on the giveaway, so it's on the Advan Black Facebook group and on the Advan Black Instagram page. The contest is on there. You can find it. Even if you're not on Instagram, you can still go on there. Like just Google Advan Black, the Advan Black Instagram, and it'll come up. And you can still look at it without having an account. Oh yeah, yeah. So it was crazy. Like we met a lot of people at Sturgis in some like just really random places, not even at the rally itself. Like we would just be out on rides and pull over into a picnic area, and there's people that knew who we were. Mount Rushmore, just about everywhere we went. So it was really cool. We were even doing the what was it, the old timey photos where you like dress up like outlaws or whatever. We did that in Deadwood. That was a lot of fun. I've never done that before, but it was pretty neat. A lot of good laughs. But we were upstairs getting changed and ran into a dude and talked to him for a while, and that we knew. So it was pretty cool. It's always cool to meet the people that are in the group or on the YouTube channel. Yeah, so yeah, and the trip there was very, very, very tiring. It was so long. I mean, there's no way, and I'll be the first one to admit it. You see these guys, I just ride out there. Shit, yeah, good on you, man. Not me. My back and ass can't take that. I'm too old. Too many miles on this back, and can't do it. So we took the toy hauler out and stayed, and hopefully we'll get to go again this year, because that was a lot of fun. Like I said, I'd like to do the Texas rally, and probably bikes, blues, and barbecues. I wouldn't mind doing that. That's kind of cool. That's not too far from us. Texas is pretty far from us, but Arkansas is not. I mean, about 5 or 6 hours, which isn't too bad. But yeah, so we got some parts coming up for the Street Glide that the one part I hopefully will be here today. What's up, Ozarks? What's going on, man? And hopefully I can get that video shot this week, because I think a lot of you are going to like this part, or parts, I should say. That's very cool. I don't want to say too much about it. I want to wait until I get it. And but it's for the Street Glide, and if it looks as killer as I think it's going to, we're going to do it on the Road Glide too. I may just do that off on the side just to do it, but we'll do a video on the Street Glide. Like I said, we're kind of doing the show the old Street Glide some love, since it's just been kind of pushed back in the corner. But that part I'm stoked about getting. And like I said, we got some wheels coming up, which I'm going to reach out later this afternoon to see kind of where they're at on that. We had a few parts that we were interested in doing, and we got them, and then realized that there was a lot of modifications and stuff that needed to be done. And like I probably wouldn't have minded doing the mods, but it's not something I would have put on the YouTube channel and been like, you need to cut this and Dremel this out. It was quite a bit to make them work and fit. It was cool, but it wasn't that cool. So we ended up just ditching those, just sending them back and It's just not something. I like to try to keep everything on our YouTube channel, super user friendly, because I have a lot of viewers that have wrenched for a long time, and I have a lot of viewers that this is their first bike and they don't even own tools yet, and they're just looking to see how to do things to save money, and that's what our videos are all about. When and where is the Bikes, Blues, and Barbecues rallied? So that's in Arkansas. I'd have to look it up again. There you go, Mickey is answering there. Yeah, I'm not near a computer. I looked it up the other day, and I'd really like to do that. And I think it's only for like a couple of days, if I'm right. It's either that one or I just looked them up the other day. Is that one or the Texas one was only like 3 or 4 days, and I thought, man, maybe it was the Texas one. I can't remember. One of them was very short, which compared to the other ones. So how long is the Bikes, Blues, and Barbecues? If anybody knows, because I really have no idea. Yeah, that's the reason why I would like to go, the riding. Like I said, if anybody's been to a motorcycle rally anywhere, 4 days. If anybody's been to a rally, I don't care what rally it is, because we've been to a lot of rallies, and when it comes to the parts and the vendors and all that stuff, like I said, it's kind of all the same, every now and again you'll see something new, but for the most part it's the same people, same vendors. They're just doing the same thing. But as far as so we like to go to the ones where there's things to do, places to go ride. And I'll be the first one to admit, Daytona is not, Daytona lost its flavor for me a long time ago. I don't care to go there. It's a 13-hour drive, and 90% of that time it's cold as hell, or it's raining and you're stuck in your camper, and then when you do get out, it's just bounce back and forth to the 2 places where they have shit set up, and it's just it's boring. Pretty much mechanically inclined, still got nervous when working on it. Well, hey, I'm glad the videos help kind of knock off the nerves a little bit on working on things. And I try not to do anything super, I think probably the biggest install video that I've did as far as time consuming goes was doing the fat tire front end on the Road Glide. But outside of that, everything and it was easy to do. And I wanted to make sure to show everybody how easy it was to do, because it's a great modification. I don't care if you have a street glide or a road glide. That fat tire, man, that handles like a dream. Although I did have issues with it in Sturgis, and it wasn't the fat tire kit itself, it was the tire. They had sent the hell was it? I don't know. It was a cheap tire they sent on it, and it ended up separating on us about midway through Sturgis. But we were riding 2 tanks of gas a day, and it was hot, and there's not a straight road anywhere out there. So the heat mixed with the curves and the kind of cheapo tire, the center of the tire about 2 inches wide, stood up. It lifted up, separated from the sidewalls, and I didn't even notice it. I'd rode it like that probably all day and had no idea. But so I ended up having to take that to Deadwood Customs and getting a new tire put on it, which cost twice as much as what it would have cost if I did it here, which is a little bit ridiculous, but I guess, what are you going to do? You're going to pay it. So wasn't a big fan of that, but we got it fixed. But yeah, hopefully we'll get to do more rallies this year. Different rallies, I should say, than what we normally go to outside of Sturgis. Like I definitely want to go back there this year. Now, if you guys have any questions on like any of the Advan Black stuff, or some of the stuff that we've done to these bikes, I mean, this is a good time to do it. Ask it. Even though I haven't been shooting videos, I stay pretty swamped. I've been wanting to do this like just kind of spontaneous live thing for about 3 weeks now. So it's just been finding the time to actually get on here and do it. And today it's a rainy, crappy day here, and I was like, I'm just gonna do a live real quick. Got about an hour to do it. What I would normally take for my lunch and just hang out with you guys. We'll try to schedule more lives, probably from the computer and not my phone. It didn't work out real good a while ago. And schedule it too. Schedule it. Trying to look through, make sure I didn't miss any comments from anybody or questions. So Nick, if you're still in here, what's the smoke out? What's that? I've never heard of that one. '21 front tire. What suspension do you recommend for a Road Glide front forks? So the Road Glide, I mean, either way, if it's Road Glide or Street Glide, if you do a 21, like we have a 21 on the Street Glide, and we didn't do, I think we did a 1-inch lowering kit, just a progressive drop-in kit on that one, and it rides great. And I think it was like $105 or something like that. So cheap and easy to do, and I mean, of course, it's air ride now, but for the longest time it was just a progressive drop-in kit. Lithium batteries. So I like lithium batteries. I'm a fan of lithium batteries. Like this Street Glide has a lithium in it. The Road Glide doesn't. It just has an AGM battery in it. But lithiums, like I said, I said in the last one, I think before this thing crashed on me, the lithiums are a little tricky. So like as far as like that one still has the Advan Black one in it. The original one, the prototype that I got before they even released it, is still on that bike with 0 issues. But we had some that did have a little bit of issues with them. So, we're just trying to get on top of that. When that goes with any battery brand, even the top name, like Braille and all them, they still have issues. You've taken that battery from a chemical battery to basically kind of an electronic battery, and you know how electronics are. Anything you buy anymore, it's hit or miss. So like I said, even the big name brand ones have issues. So that's the only thing. It's just, it makes me wonder if the technology is like really there, Let's see, I think I missed one. Oh, okay, so best, cheapest speaker amp setup. Cheapest and best don't go together. Yeah, that's true. So I get that a lot. They're like, hey, I want the cheapest but the best, and that's hard to answer sometimes. But I mean, really, for if you put $1,000 on there, I mean, there's a lot of, let me back up, because I've never been a huge fan of the plug and play kits, but over the years now, let me back up again. Rockford Fosgate, not a fan. Cheap speakers, just you're paying for the name and you're paying for the plug and play part of it, and that's it. I've seen just some cheaper pro audio speakers just blow away Fosgate. So, but on the flip side of that, there are other companies that they're getting better every year with their plug and play kits, and the price is coming down a little bit, but in the end, you're still paying for that plug and play part of it. You know what I mean? So that's where something has to be sacrificed when you either that, if you buy a plug and play kit that costs $3,000, then you're probably going to get really good stuff. But when you start getting in cheaper and it's still plug and play, something is being sacrificed somewhere. It's usually the audio part, and that's what you're buying. So my biggest thing is with audio on these bikes, Gil down at Motorcycle Sound Systems Miami, that dude is a freaking genius when it comes to doing these bikes. He has done both of our bikes. I know how to install the stuff, so I just tell him what I want to do, and then he builds me a package and ships it to me, and then I install it. So if anything, he can, and he's really good about working with budgets too. So definitely give him a call or hit him up on Facebook. His name is Gil, and it's Motorcycle Sound Systems Miami. He uses a ton of Advan Black parts too. He's competing, his competition bikes literally have our bags and tour pack and 8-inch tour pack lid and stuff like that. So the new bag lights are going to have them just an amber. No, so we are working on red. That was the first thing. As soon as I plugged them in on the new Advan Black kind of L-shaped bag lights that we did that go down the side and across the back, those things are sick. But like on my bike, everything is red in the rear. So I did ask them to go ahead and do a set that's red with red turn signal instead of red with amber turn signal. So they are working on those, so those will be out real soon. That's a very easy thing to change. Steve asked Pro Monkey about the smoke out. Yeah, I need to call him, so I'll ask him about it. I need to get in touch with him anyway to see what's going on this year, because we'll get together. I know he just went out to Advan Black. He had some work or something, I think, to do in California. He went out there and hung out at the Advan Black shop there with Alan. So, but I need to get in touch with him. DS18, yeah. So DS18. If you watch any of our older videos, we used to run a lot of DS18, and I started working with DS18 when they were pretty small, before they really amped it up, and we did rock a lot of their speakers. I never messed with any of their amps because their Candy amps weren't, they just weren't up to par for me, but the speakers were. And then all of a sudden they started changing the baskets on the speakers, and then they no longer fit a lot of the applications. If you get the upper end DS18s, the aluminum baskets on the backside are real thick, and they don't fit now. They don't fit in the holes. So they look cool, and that's fine, but they don't fit in the lowers, they don't fit in the fairing, and they don't fit in the 8-inch lids. So that kind of, yeah, I called them and asked them what they were going to do, and they said that's the way that they were going to continue to make them. So we just, we kind of quit messing with them. And then the lower end DS18s, they were still pretty good, but they're a couple of years ago, I started getting more of them back here in the shop, blown. So, when I tune the bikes, they go out of here to where there's no way that you can blow the speakers unless you're in there pulling the fairing off and adjusting the gains. And we started marking those too. We started marking the gains with a pin that you can't scratch off or remove, so I could make sure that you didn't take the bike home and your buddy turned up the gain on it because he said it could be louder, and then blew the speakers. So we started getting quite a bit of DS18s coming back in here blown. So I don't know. I quit messing with them and started going with PRVs, ground zeros. Now there's some new stuff that Gil's gonna be hooking me up with too. Can you use different speakers with the Fosgate system? Yeah, so that's a good question, because so the Fosgate system is just, you have a basic amp, and then what they do is when they're pairing speakers with an amp, they're really just pairing ohm load and watts. So if your amp is 4 channels at like 50 watts RMS, then you can use other speakers, but they have to be in that same line. They have to be in that 50 watts RMS. So you can't take like a PRV that needs like 250 watts and plug it into, a 50 watt amp. You're kind of going to be kind of wasting your money on the speaker side, because it's just not enough. So my recommendation really, I mean, if you're looking to just upgrade what you have, yeah, so the HD Rockford Fosgate is just a plug and play kit that's made for Harley touring. The amps, you just have to, so if you go like on Harley's website and you go to the specs on that amp, go ahead and just look at the specs of your amp output, depending on what you have. If you have 2-channel, just fairing, or maybe you have 4-channel, you have lowers, or maybe you have speaker lids. Check out the wattage output, RMS, not max. Max doesn't mean crap. RMS is what you're going to be looking at, and then try to pair an equivalent or other brand speaker to the wattage of that. And then you're hitting, if you put a different speaker on there and you've crank the gains all the way to the point where you're not getting any distortion, you're just hitting the limits of the amp, is all it is. So then you just have to decide what you want to do from there. If you want to upgrade to a bigger amp, or whatever. But it's I wish these comments would stay up here. Volunteer Audio. Yeah, so Volunteer Audio, I've used some of their stuff. Does the Bagger Brothers Maverick pipe have much of a baffle in it? Is it loud as it seems? Yes. So the Bagger Brothers side pipe that's on this bike, I love that pipe, but it is loud as hell. So any side pipe, I've installed 6 or 7 different side pipes for customers, and this was the first time that I put one on our bike, only because I knew how loud it was, and I know how loud they are. They're all loud. There's not really any baffle in it at all. I think there was one company that actually sold a small little baffle that you could pop in this, and it didn't do anything. It was a waste of money. They're still just loud as hell. And I don't know if it's more just because it's right there, right underneath your, right behind your foot, but they're just loud, and it doesn't matter what brand you get. I ended up doing theirs because it was it looked very much like the, what was the name of that company? Well, I don't know. I can't remember the name of the company. The Freedom, maybe, the Freedom Performance Pipe. And it was cheaper, and it looked exactly the same, and it's held up great. But it is loud, and you're right, there isn't much, if any, baffle in there at all. It's just a loud pipe. That was the only thing that's like really kind of stopped me from taking that bike to any rides that were really long, is just because I have to listen to that all day. And even with the tabs, right before Sturgis, we put the 5-inch 50 cals on there, and I put the zombie baffles in there. And then right before Sturgis, I changed the baffles out to medium baffles. And I think I made a good choice there. Side pipes take away from low end torque. No, so the side pipe really won't, but like like those 50 cals from Tab, they have a little bit, you're going to lose a little bit of that torque. But here's the thing, you're talking about, I mean, if you're doing a header and 50 cals and you put the right tune on it, it's not, you're not losing that much torque that you feel it like instantly. It's not like you changed your pipes and you got on your bike and you're like, ah, this sucks. It's not really like that. It's not really what I call seat of pants. You know, you see guys that put something on their bike and they're like, I gained 8 horsepower. You can't feel 8 horsepower in your seat. I'm sorry, you just can't. And it's the same way with the torque on the pipes. You lose a little bit, but it's not like, it's not so discouraging that you just want to go park your bike. So yeah, Michael's right on the Rockford Fosgate stuff. And I've got a lot of people that work up at Harley Davidson that are friends of mine, and they're salespeople, and they're there to make money. And you know, Fosgate sells that Harley kit to a lot of riders, and they buy it and they pay a lot of money for it. And at the end of the day, after they hear, I don't think they really realize it. So you're listening to that stereo in the Harley shop, stuck on a wall, not on a bike. It's in a big concrete freaking building. It's loud as hell. And you're like, whoa, that's awesome. And then you get it installed, and then you listen to somebody else's bike that just built their system on their own, and you get depressed really quick. I don't know how many times we've pulled up at bike night and guys will come out and be like, oh, I just had the subs put in my bags and all this shit from Fosgate. And I'm like, okay. And they crank it up, and it's just it's loud, but the sound quality's not there. It's very, just all kind of mushed together to me. It's not crystal clear. It's just mushy. About the best way to explain it. And that's even with the more expensive, higher end Fosgate systems that Harley sells. So there's definitely better options for the money on the market than Rockford. So, but it's easy. You have to, it's what I tell people on the phone when they call me and they ask me about Fosgate. And, you know, like I said, you're paying for the name, you're paying for the plug and play. And you have to remember that Harley Davidson technicians are installing these, and they are mechanics. They're not audio guys. They're mechanics. So they have to sell something that's completely plug and play. You don't really have to tune anything. You don't have to really do shit. You just plug it in and turn it on and it works. And that's what they have to have. That's what Harley has to do. And for I can tell, like, from a lot of phone calls that I get when guys are wanting to upgrade to, say, like the 8-inch lids, and they're like, well, I have a Fosgate kit in my bike and I want 8-inch lids. And I'm like, no, you start over. And it makes them mad, but it makes them mad because they've already spent so much money on the Fosgate kit, and it's just not, it's like building 2 separate systems. You can't just mash them together and expect it to work. So if you just start from the beginning and build your own system, you'll be much happier, and you won't be out as much money either. You know, like a decent set of 8s from PRV or Ground Zero or whatever, the money that you have in that system at the end of the day is going to be way less than that Fosgate kit, and it's going to smoke that Fosgate kit every time. As far as clarity and loudness goes, it'll kill it. So not a huge fan of them, but I understand why they have them. There's a lot of, like I said, there's a lot of people that buy new bikes, or they're new to Harley, or they're just new to the touring model, and they want music, and they want it louder than just those 2 35-watt speakers that come in the fairing, you know, so it's an easy upgrade. They don't have to do anything. If you got the money to do it, you know, it's easy. It's an easy decision to make. But at the end of the day, you're not going to be that happy with it. Yeah, so yeah, I mean that's hey, they sell, you know, this one says sounds better than stock crap. Just went that way because I didn't have you telling me the right way. And that's you're not in that boat by yourself. I mean, I get that call like at least 3 times a week, you know. They're wanting to upgrade, and they've already got they spent so much money on the Fosgate system, and it's just like, well, shit, what do I do now, you know? And it's hard to let it go. I won't ask something. I have a Fat Bob 2021. Have you seen a bike with the stretch side covers and cuts? You can keep your saddlebag guards. No. So at this time, there's no company running any kind of stretch side covers where you can have these saddlebag guards, because the problem is the guards come out, so they come out exactly where, I don't know if you can see my side covers, so hopefully you can see what I'm talking about. So the question was, can you run side covers, stretch side covers with saddlebag guards? The bar itself that your saddlebag rides on comes out right here, and that tees off, right? Instead of just going back to the bike, it tees off and then comes out here. So they both go in the exact same spot. So your side cover goes in the exact same spot that does. So there's absolutely no way to do that without cutting a bunch of holes and just really jacking up your side cover. When we first did this bike with the Advan Black stretch side covers, I had saddlebag guards on here, and I was in the same boat. I didn't want to get rid of them. I thought they looked good. They were chrome. Not that I was worried about dropping my bike, but I had to take them off. So that's nature of the beast when it comes to customizing. Some stuff just doesn't fit together, and I get that question a lot. Guys want to run the side covers, and they already have the things. They don't want to change them. So, hey, Paul, hey, it's good to see you. Thanks for coming in. So yeah, free running. I hope that answers your question on that. Sound digital amps, yeah. So that's what I use as of right now. I've got a pretty good feeling after talking to Gil in Miami that we're going to be changing that. But as of right now, that's what I have in both bikes. I have Sound Digital 804s, and also, let's see, the Rogue Glide also has a Stetson 404 just for the 2 tweeters and the lids. So the 404 is just mainly for the tweeters. Back there on the 8-inch lid. So, but the Sound Digital 804 is it's a good amp. But so they compacted the 804 to what they call like it used to be 804 Evo, now it's the Evo X or EVOX, whatever they call it. So they took this 804 amp and they made an 804 amp this big, and in turn turned into a lot of heat issues. So they had a lot of them kind of not working correctly. And we all kind of seen that coming. When you take an amp that requires this much space and heat fins to run, and you make it this big because all the motorcycle people were buying them and complaining about them being too big. They didn't change anything, so they just made the package smaller and put the same guts in it, and it had heat issues. See. Let me scroll back because I changed the air intake to K and N, but the check engine light came on. Yeah, it shouldn't be any reason why a check engine light should come on just by changing the air intake. Check your codes. If you don't know how to check your codes on your Fat Bob, go to YouTube and just Google it. How to check DTC codes on a Fat Bob. It's all digital. Just push a few buttons and it'll show you the codes. And then Google your codes to see what kind of code you're getting. Yeah, I mean, I've never had a bike throw a code just by changing the air intake. I've never even had one changing the intake, changing the headers, changing the slip-ons, and not tuning it, didn't even throw a code. It ran like shit, but it didn't throw a code. So I'm not real sure what's going on with that. And just list maybe the air cleaner that you got wasn't for that bike. Carlton, Kentucky. I have no idea who that is, so we just hung that up. Racing Ray 42, thanks for the donation, man. That's awesome. I appreciate you, brother. Every little bit helps. We don't do any of the Patreon or any of that stuff, man. So every little bit helps. And I was talking to my wife the other night. It's a funny little story about how YouTube works. And like we watch some other YouTubers. It's not motorcycle stuff because at the end of the day, I don't want to watch motorcycle stuff. But we watch other YouTubers do stuff, and like a lot of them's just talking. And I explained to him, like, look, this guy puts out this video once a week and he just talks. He's got time in his research and like all the stuff he's researching and talking about. He has that time. But as far as like just buying a camera, a couple of lights, you know, a computer to edit, an editing program, that kind of stuff, and he buys it all once. You know, it lasts a long time if you take care of it, but he buys all that stuff once, and then he just keeps cranking out these videos and millions of views on each one of them. And it's like that's the only money he has invested outside of his time, which we all know time can be money. But every video that we do here is like a part, you know. So we don't. We have a lot of great companies that work with us. They didn't at first, of course. I mean, we didn't have everything that we did to that street glide that basically made this channel was all out of pocket. It was money that I had to spend. I had to buy the part, get it here, shoot the install video, get it put on. There's a few videos that were just talking or whatever, but not very many. Most everything I do is parts. So everything we do, like I said, we have a few companies that work with us, and they realize the benefit of the YouTubers getting their product pushed out there, and that's awesome. Because a lot of companies want you to do a product. They just kind of basically give you the product, and a lot of people, like I've done a lot of them like that, but what they don't realize is you, as a YouTuber, you end up basically kind of working for that company for a while, as long as that video's up, because it's easier for you out there to ask us in the comment section about that part rather than call the company. So if there's ever any questions, and I don't mind answering them, that's not the point, but the point is you end up doing a lot more for that company than just shooting a video. You don't just shoot the video and release it and that's the end of it, you move on. Every morning I get up at 4 o'clock every single morning, and the first 2.5 hours of my day is dedicated to emails, YouTube, the Advan Black stuff, the Advan Black YouTube channel, all of their emails, all of the tech stuff that I have to do for Advan Black. It's all done in that first couple hours of the day. So every morning, like, I'm answering questions for these companies, and A lot of the parts we just bought. We just paid for them because we wanted them, and I wanted to show you how to put them on and how easy it is. So, you know, that $20 donation is freaking amazing, and we're grateful for every single freaking bit of it, man. As I'm not, like I said in the beginning of this, I don't do the Patreon thing. I don't get on there, and I don't, you know, I do the whole, you know, hey, please like and subscribe, because I'm going to tell you something real quick too. I think it was about 85% of the people that watch my videos are not subscribed to the channel. Let that sink in. So I have videos with well over 1 million views, and 85% of those people are not subscribed to the channel. And for YouTube to actually push our videos into, like, if you're watching a video and you see all the little videos on the side, like you may want to watch this next kind of thing. It's based on a whole algorithm that's based on comments, subscribers, you know, everything. They take everything into account before they start pushing your video. So with almost 80,000 subscribers, still like 80 to 85% of the people that watch my videos are not subscribers. And that's just hitting that subscribe button greatly pushes our videos even farther. And it's just to get more people to see the videos. I've been on YouTube for a while now, a long while, and I still get comments weekly like, hey man, I just found your channel. I'm like, holy shit, like how? Like, really? I mean, that's cool. But yeah, so doing that helps a lot. Just telling your buddies about it, and actually hitting the subscribe button and like the video or leave a comment, even if it's just thanks. It's a comment, and that is what pushes our channel. And that's all I ask from everybody. Because like I said, I don't do Patreon. I don't get on there and beg for money from people. I just don't. That's not what the channel was about. The channel was to help everybody save money, you know. There's a couple of YouTube channels that are dedicated to motorcycle stuff, and they're like, half of their damn video is go to my Patreon and become a member of this and do this and give me money every month. And I can't. I don't ask people to do that. So any money that we make from YouTube, which isn't nowhere near what a lot of people think it is, it's just not. But that money that we do make from YouTube, we try to reinvest it right back into the channel. And that's buying parts or whatever, or buying new lights, or like freaking broke my camera last year. That was $900. So worth upgrading from the 107 to the 114. Yeah, no, not really. Go with a bigger cam. You'll like it just as good. That's like everybody. It's kind of like, there's that whole Milwaukee 8 versus twin cam, you know, 103 versus the 107 and all that stuff. Honestly, just because I've worked on a lot of both, I can't anytime soon find myself getting rid of these two 103s. That twin cam 103 is one of the absolute most solid motors that Harley has made. I mean, they're almost bulletproof, knock on wood. No issues with them, and I don't get very many in here that do have issues with them. The 107s, on the other hand, we have quite a few of them in here. Not saying it's not a good motor, just saying. The 103 is the 14, 15, 16. Trying not to miss any of these guys, I'm sorry. I get random off into thoughts, and I have the attention span of a rock. Lowered the fairing on your RG. Do you feel that it changed the rideability, airflow, turbulence between the rider and the fairing? So, yeah. So lowering the fairing on the Road Glide, aesthetically, it looks badass. I love it. I only rode the bike maybe one summer before I actually lowered it, and I didn't notice a huge difference. Now I think that has a lot to do with the windshield. We did the Clockworks windshield on it, and I did one that was pretty tall. I don't remember. It's actually in a box over there. I had it on there for like a week and took it off and ordered the shorter one. The taller one was right at eye level where it's supposed to be. I mean, it was looking right over the top of that Clockworks windshield. But anytime I would top a hill or anything, I would kind of, and I kind of slouch when I ride. The longer I ride, like the more I find myself slouching in the seat. So I was getting underneath that windshield, which for a Clockworks windshield is a big no-no with the curves and stuff that's in that. But so I just went to a shorter Clockworks, and I absolutely love the way it rides. We ride with skid lids 100% of the time. I'm in Illinois. We are a no helmet. We're a zero helmet laws in Illinois. You don't have to wear one. We ride one. We wear one 100% of the time. Crazy Owls skid lids is what we use, and no buffeting, no nothing. I mean, I think that it has a lot to do with that windshield flipping that air over the top of us. But the Clockworks is pricey, but I can tell you this, that thing is, I've been blasted with rocks, and it's never cracked it, never chipped it, and I cannot say that for a lot of the other windshields I've ran. They don't scratch at all. Like, you could clean them with a dirty rag and you can't scratch them. Get one off Amazon and clean it with a dirty rag. It'll look like you cleaned it with a weed eater. So just keep that in mind. It's well worth the money. And I'm not, Clockworks has never sponsored me for anything, nothing. And I've even asked. I asked after I did the Clockworks on this bike, I asked when I was building the Road Glide, and they pretty much told me no. So I have absolutely no reason to beef Clockworks up at all. And then I've seen now that they're like giving shit away to everybody. And I'm like, you told me no like 2 years ago. So that's how much I like the Clockworks. That's all I'm saying. I have no reason to talk them up. Big Joe, thank you, man. Thank you for the donation, dude. That's awesome. I appreciate you. Appreciate you a lot. Guy mowing a crazy lawn, it gets 1 million views. Yeah. So there's a lot of channels out there. Some of them motorcycle related that I struggle with on a daily basis. I'm like, how in the hell are you getting so many views? You know, I pour everything I can into a video. I try to make sure I have all of the information in every video. I try not to miss anything, no matter how minute it is, or how minute it may seem to some people. I always have to remember there's brand new renters and brand new riders watching these channels too. So, I mean, I put everything into a video that I can, and then I watch some of these other videos on YouTube, and I'm like, fuck, you stood there and talked for 15 minutes about nothing. 100,000 views. Okay. I don't get it, man, but hey, that's the crazy world of YouTube. I ain't mad at them, by no means. I just don't understand it. So, Paul Webb, thank you, man. That is awesome, Paul. I appreciate you. Paul's always on here. You've been a great contribution to the channel, man. And that's another thing too. I want to say thanks to a lot of you guys that comment on other comments. I know a lot of times in my Facebook group for Sick Baggers, I'll get a lot of comments that are directed right at me, or they'll tag me in it. And by the time I actually have the time to sit down at 9 o'clock at night and I finally see the comment, there's 10 people have already answered them. So that's awesome that you guys help each other too, because that's, like I said, man, like, and a lot of this stuff is just opinions. All this stuff that I put on the Street Glide and all this stuff I put on the Road Glide, it's a great product, or I wouldn't put it on the bike. But it's also a matter of opinion too, because it's not the only part that you could have put, or the only company you could have bought from, or whatever, you know. So a lot of it's just my opinion, what I think looks good, which could be completely different than yours. So so that's cool that, you know, people get on there and give other people options. And I never, as long as everybody's respectful to each other, I never delete comments or anything. If somebody's on there being a jackass, yeah, you get deleted real quick, but we don't do that. That's just like with the whole, that's why I created the Sick Bagger Facebook group, because of that. You know, you get on Street Glide Nation, Road Glide Nation, all them, it's all just full of jackasses, man. You know, somebody asks a legitimate question and you got one jerk off in there that wants to say something smart, and then 3 of his buddies think he's the funniest person in the world, even though that joke's been said 114,000 times this week. You know, I don't tolerate that crap, man. We're all here to help each other. We all start, none of us were born with any of this knowledge, so we all had to learn. So just help them, man. You know, either if you don't want to help them, just shut the hell up. Move on to the next post. Move on to the next group. Yeah, I'm sure you can find some other group that can entertain your smart assery, but not on ours. So how do you get paid from YouTube? You get more money from YouTube if they are subscribed to your channel, or do they have to watch the whole video? So that's a freaking awesome question, because that right there is the common, it's the common, I guess what people think how we get paid from YouTube. So we actually do not get paid from YouTube at all. It's not YouTube that pays us, it's Google, and it's Google AdSense. So we have what's called a CPU, which is, it's like basically clicks per advertisement or whatever. So if I upload a video and I monetize it, and that allows YouTube, it allows Google AdSense to run ads on my video. So if you start the video and it starts with an ad, and it says, like, this ad will end in 15 seconds, well, that's a non-skippable ad. You have to watch that ad before my video starts. I'm not in control of that. No YouTuber is. That is just what YouTube put on there. That's what YouTube chose to show on your channel, and they try to cater those ads to you. That whole, they track what you're doing and listen to what they're saying. To a sense, they do, because they're catering to you. They want to show you ads that you want to see. Now, is it always going to be an ad you want to see? No. But a lot of them will be. So what happens is, if that shows up in the corner after 5 seconds, you can skip this ad. If you skip that ad, I don't get paid, and the advertiser doesn't have to pay. So if it's a non-skippable ad, you're forced to watch it. Maybe it's a 15-second ad. You're forced to watch it. The advertiser absolutely has to pay, and we get like a little chunk of that. So, but our CPU, our clicks, our ad base is based off of a combination of everything. So being a subscriber or leaving a comment on a video or something like that, all of that adds up to push the video, which gets it in front of more people, which shows more people more ads. You see where I'm going with that? So it's just like a big snowball. If I put up a video and there's 2 comments on it, it's not, that video is not going anywhere. But the more people comment on it, or the more interaction there is, or I gained a subscriber from that specific video, they take into all of that into an algorithm. And then at the end of the month, so the better your algorithm is, the more your CPU is. So like when I first started, my CPU might have only been like $3. So every 1,000 ads that you guys actually watch and don't skip, I got $3. So that's how we get paid. So, and like with me not shooting videos for 2 months, YouTube is big on being consistent. They want you to upload videos once, twice, 3 times a week. Something like my channel, there's no way I could do that. You know, I did it once a week for 2 years, and I'll be honest with you, about took me out. It's a whole nother job. But with me not doing videos for 2 months, my CPU has went down. You can check that on your YouTube. It'll tell you, like if it's $10, if it's $13, it fluctuates based on what you're doing. So if I don't do anything, that starts going down. So like now I'm down to like $9. So you have to remember, like I said, every 1,000 ads that you don't skip, I make $9. So I'll be honest with you, I skip some ads, so I'm not mad if you do it. You know what I mean? So, but for you guys to understand, that's how we make money to put back into channel to do more videos. You know, a lot of YouTubers can just pocket that money, like I was talking about earlier. They don't have any out of pie every time they make a video. They're just out their time. You know, they're not out parts and tools and everything else. So, sorry, that was kind of a long spiel, but I did want to make sure everybody understood how we got paid. And in the beginning, when you start up a YouTube channel, if you are interested in starting a YouTube channel, be prepared to do a lot for nothing, because you don't get paid just right out of the box. You know, you start making videos, you start getting paid. That's not how that works. So what also can make up for some of that revenue that you may have to spend on a channel like this is your sponsors. So when you get to a point where you can start getting some sponsors, some of them are paid sponsors and some of them just might want to give you a part or something for you to do a video on. And that is something that you have to decide what you want to do. We try not to, we don't set up a lot of accounts where we're just like, oh, you pay us once a month, and we don't. If you got a part that you want us to do a review on or something like that, just send it. We'll do it, you know, as long as we have a bike to do it on. But if you like quit your day job and wanted to do this as a YouTube channel, that would be a legitimate way to gain more revenue, is through your sponsors. Thank you, Nick. I'm kind of scrolling back because I went again off on that deep end. Thank you, Charles. Like I said, if you're just joining us, we do have some more videos coming up. We're just waiting on parts right now. Does the chin spoiler take a lot of air from the motor, causing it to run a little hotter? No. And so just about any, hold that thought. Spam call. Good deal. So just about any chin spoiler on the market is actually designed to force air to the motor. I know that, I don't know. So if you look at the designs on them with the triangles, a lot of them have triangles, some of them have slots, whatever. When that airflow hits those, it's forcing more air onto the motor. Instead of just, it's kind of hard to explain unless I drag the camera over there, but if your fender's right in front of where that air goes in, a lot of your air comes in here, like on the street glides, it hits the front of your tank, comes up, hits you in the face. The whole buffeting issue with street glides, 90% of that is from air hitting the front of the tank and hitting you, not coming over your windshield. So those chin spoilers, I've installed quite a few of them. I haven't found one yet that didn't look like it wasn't designed to like force air in there. So don't worry about overheating with chin spoilers ever. Like I've been running them for years. Even before Advan Black came out, I was running Trask chin spoilers. Just received my extension. Waiting on stretch bags and liners to show up. Build nice. Building a 22. Big Joe, I don't know what you put on there, man. It says message retracted. Sorry if I missed it. Just gotta say excellent fast shipping from Advan Black. Yeah, so So like I said, even this is on the Sick Bagger channel, but if you guys have any questions about the Advan Black stuff, you know I run the Advan Black YouTube channel too. So, and I'm their service tech. So, if you got any questions on that. Paid sponsorships, yeah. So those are paid sponsorships are all over the map, man. They're that really just you. That's something you have to work out between you and the sponsor. They're a good supplement, you know, for some of the income, like we were talking about earlier. And I hate to keep bringing that up, but it's you know the money you get from YouTube versus the money that goes out for parts. Sometimes it works out where you can buy a part and have a little bit of money left over, but most of the time, you know, when you start buying, you know, $1,800 wheels and $1,800 spoked wheels, and then you got to put $550, $600 worth of tires on them just to show you how to put front and rear tires on a Softail, and then show you how to check your belt tension and all that stuff. So we got several good videos out of that, but it ended up costing me like almost $2,000 just to do that. So it's a lot of money. So if you go a couple of months and all you have is YouTube money coming in, and you have to save, you know, for several months to buy those parts, well, what are you going to do in between then, you know? And I cannot make myself do videos where I just get on here and just talk about something. I just can't. Like I want my videos to be very instructional and help people. So doing these little lives like this is kind of cool, just to you know, hang out and just kind of talk back and forth and answer a few questions and stuff. But for just for me to come out and just make a video just randomly talking about some BS, I just can't do it. I know a lot of channels can, I just can't do it. CLB, love your videos. Thank you. I appreciate you for the thumbs up too, man. Kevin, thank you. Appreciate you, buddy. Chin spoilers that will work with factory crash bars. So I don't know what you mean by factory crash bars. Are you talking about like the newer, the smaller crash bars? Because I mean, like that big crash bar, that's a factory crash bar. So, but if you're talking about the newer bikes that are coming with the little, what the hell they call them, little mustache bars or whatever. If you're talking about those little ones that are on there, there's no chin spoilers that work with those right now. Nobody that I know that's making any. So if you want to run a chin spoiler, you either have to remove the crash bar or put a full-size crash bar on there. Or you can go with the new, I don't know what they're called, but I'm sure you guys have seen them. It's just a stick that comes out. It's got the rubber ball things on the end or whatever, like you see on the performance baggers. You can run those. Thank you, Scott. I appreciate it, buddy. We're trying to get more videos out, man. Thank you, Kevin, from Australia. Thank you, Kevin. Advan Black making rear fenders for breakout. So not right now. We do have some lowrider and street bob parts coming out. I had a lowrider in here, a lowrider S in here for about 3 weeks, and test fitting a bunch of parts for that thing. And the breakout's kind of the same bike. So putting a front fairing and saddlebags, tour pack, all that stuff on it. But nothing right now for that bike. But I'm sure there will be soon. Yeah, that Santoro one, yeah. So on the Advan Black shipping stuff, Robert wants to know like where this stuff comes from. So everything is made in our molding factories. They are based in China. That is where the molds are made, where they're actually injected, right? And then we have all of our painters there, which is a separate department, right? There's a shit ton of painters because we put out a shit ton of parts. And there's still like a 4 to 6 week waiting period, right? So what happens is we get built up on so many parts, and then we start shipping them to the United States. And then those parts are already pre-painted. So I see a lot of guys will get in the forums and say, I had to wait 5 weeks for, let's just say, a tank cover. And then another guy gets on there and goes, well, I got mine in 4 days. Well, the reason why is you had a color that wasn't already painted and boxed up and ready to ship. So there's that waiting period. And that's when you would get it straight from the manufacturer. It's drop shipped from the manufacturer. So I don't want to, I'm not going to toss any names under the bus, but there's another company out there that does almost exactly what we do. And the shit of it is, man, is they try to hide the fact that they're Chinese products. And so what happens is they have like a 10 to 12 week wait time, and they'll paint up a bunch of parts, they ship it over, then they brand them and package them like they're being shipped from the United States. And then they make these little videos with somebody painting some parts, and they make you think that this one person is painting all the parts for the company, and it's all in the United States, and it's all bullshit. Every single bit of it. So every single bit of it comes from China. So Advan Black, your wait time is going to be based on your color and availability, right? So if you call and order stretch bags and stretch fender extension, and somebody's smelling what I'm stepping in. So if you order the parts and they're ready to ship, you're going to get them pretty quick, right? And on our new website, if you go to the part and select the color, it'll tell you if it's ready to ship or if it's a 6 to 8 week lead time, right? So that's how that works. And that's pretty up to date. And then I've had some that said 6 to 8 weeks, and we still had it, and they got it within like 4 or 5 days. I've had guys call and be like, damn, I got it in like 5 days. I'm like, oh, well, I mean, I just went off what the website said. But that's how that works from Advan Black shipping. So some parts and colors, you'll have a lead time, and some of it's ready to go and ready to ship, and they just ship it out the next day. But you have to remember all of the variables when it comes to ordering the parts that we have. Let's just take a tour pack, right? So you order the Zephyr Blue tour pack, but you want black hinges, and you want blue liners, and you want the wraparound backrest versus the small backrest, all of those variables. So we have to have that specific one. We have to have that one painted, black hardware on it. They're not just going to go out and swap the hardware over and then ship it to you. If it's not exactly how you ordered it, that you're going to have that 6 week lead time. And then they'll build it how you ordered it and then ship it. So, and then when we, just a heads up, when we do this new fiberglass stuff, like what's on the back here, it's going to be a little bit longer lead time, because that's actually going to be, we've talked about this, and it's actually going to be built to order. Now we do all of our parts paint to order, right? The parts are already there. We just select them and paint them, and then put whatever hardware you ordered on it. But the fiberglass stuff will be strictly build to order. So you're probably going to be looking at another couple of weeks for stuff like that. So just a heads up on that. Let me get in here and see what other comments we got. I think I missed a few. Corey, yeah, I read your comment. I teased Monkey about not working on his bike. I was like, how come you cut the camera every time you work on your bike? You work on your bike, right? Yeah, no. He's a good dude. And see, that's the difference between like his channel and my channel. A lot of people come to my channel because they want to see the specific install. Like they want the A to Z install on the part, and they'll go to his channel, you know, to just see it and hear his like review on it and stuff. So right there just shows you the two different, we're both doing the same thing. At the end of the day, we're both showing you the same part, but it's two different approaches to it. And so like if I tried to make a video like his where I just got on here and kind of BS'd, you guys would probably be mad at me. So that's why I don't do those. 17 with Vansenheim power duals, you feel I should go to the 2-in-1 pipe. So if you're doing anything bigger than a stage 2, of course a 2-into-1 pipe, a single exhaust is going to be your best bet. Definitely, every time. And so like there's a lot of guys that are stuck on that dual exhaust look. They want that dual exhaust instead of the single pipe. But there's always systems out there that do the ghost pipe. So the ghost pipe is your secondary pipe, but it's fake. And you still get all of the added benefits of having a 2-into-1. Cholo stuff says it fits. When I go to the actual part, says it won't fit. See it, 07 Heritage Cholo style fender. Man, that's one I'm gonna have to look up, because we did the Cholo style fender on the 15, and I need to look at that. I need to look at that on the website and see why it says it won't fit, Corey, before I answer that. Yeah, because the one they sent me was on a 15. I don't know if it goes back to an 07 or not without me double checking. I'd have to look at my notes because I obviously haven't installed it on all the years. I think I've installed 3 of those here in the shop, but they were all pretty much newer Heritage bikes. So yeah, let me double check into that. And I don't know if you want to hit me up on my email, steven@advanblack.com, or if you're on the Facebook group, you can hit me up over there too. Just hit me on the messenger, and I'll double check on that for you for sure. Got his lowers in 3 days, so yeah, that's another, you know, a lot of them you can get pretty quick. Thank you, Sean. I appreciate you, man. Yeah, so the A to Z videos, yeah. That's really what we started doing from the beginning, and I just kind of, I guess that was kind of found my niche where I fell into YouTube and what worked for me. And it's crazy though with like videos like A to Z videos, like what we were just talking about, from install, from unpacking it to the showing you every step of the way how to do it. I get a lot of comments. There's always some jackass that's got to make a comment, you know, like, what are you going to do next? Show us how to put air in our tire and shit like that. And it used to tick me off, you know, like it kind of, you put all that work into something, and as menial as that part may be, I'll be honest with you, one of my #1 watched videos on my channel, how to put highway pegs on your crash bar. It's literally one bolt, right? When I shot that video, I walked in the house and I looked at my wife and I said, I can't even believe I just spent the time to shoot that video, because it's so easy. It's a bolt, right? Ended up being one of my #1 watched videos. So that just, it goes to show you like I said before, the people that watch the YouTube channel, all the way from brand new newbies that looked at the part and went, I know how this goes on, but it'd be cool to watch somebody else do it one time and then let me go put it on so I don't screw anything up, you know? So we got those guys all the way to seasoned mechanics. And I'll be honest, I've had some mechanics get on my page, on my YouTube page, on a video and say, hey man, that's cool, but next time try it like this. Now, I'm not getting mad about that. That's what our whole channel's about. I met a guy, damn, I wish I could remember his YouTube channel. He is actually on, if you go to my YouTube, if you go to my YouTube main page, and I got a little section there called like people you should check out or whatever, or cool YouTubers or something. He is on there, and he's from the UK, and he's just does what I do. And I watch his videos all the time. I don't give a shit if it's on a gold wing. I watch the video because I always freaking learn something. Every time, every single time I watch one of his videos, as stupid as the video may be to me and irrelevant to me, I watch it and go, oh shit. I never even thought about it like that, you know? So I wish I had more time to go to other channels and comment on other people's stuff, but or give them my advice or whatever. Some people don't want your advice, but hell, you know, I'll take it. Hey, what's up, man? Another YouTuber, KR3 Garage. Check out his YouTube channel. Appreciate you stopping in, dude. I want to do a color swap on my 16 Ultra Limited. Can I color swap my lowers being that it's liquid cooled? No, you cannot, unless you buy the lowers from Harley in that color, because those lowers are specific for the water cooled bikes. The standard lowers will not work, and that's all Advan Black has. They have the just the standard lowers, so you just have to get the lowers themselves in that color from HD, unless you can find like a set maybe on eBay or something like that. Yeah, Del Boy, thank you. Del Boy, damn it. I was getting mad at myself that I couldn't remember his name. Awesome channel. And I don't get it too. Like I get on his channel and watch some stuff, and then I read some of the comments, and it's no matter where you go or where you're at or where you live or what channel you did or how awesome your videos, there's always just jackasses on there just running their just keyboard warriors, man. I don't get it, you know? Even if you didn't learn something from the video, well, whatever, you know? I had a lip about it, just go on to the next one. I think he's got some awesome videos. But yeah, Del Boy, check him out on YouTube. We've talked back and forth a few times in email. Thank you, Scott. I appreciate that. Got to run. Sorry. Hey, thanks for stopping in, pre-running. If you're still here, I appreciate you coming in, man. Be safe out there. Yeah. So new riders needing to learn. So that's what I stress a lot. You know, I was an instructor for about 4 years for the basic motorcycle training course. They take volunteers for that, and I did that for a while before I started the YouTube channel. And a lot of them, you know, I preached that the whole time when we were on breaks and stuff like that. And a lot of the instructors would just go back into their little room and just talk amongst each other. And I would always try to go out, and, you know, most of the riders would be sitting at picnic tables or whatever, sitting around the training course and taking their break. And I'd go out and talk to them, you know, and just tell them, you know, like the more, excuse me, the more they learn about their motorcycle, the more comfortable they're going to be actually riding their bike. I really believe that. Sorry about that. But yeah, just giving them, just learning the bike. And you don't have, and I'm not saying learn everything. You don't have to learn how to take the motor out, pull the transmission. Just learning your everyday basic things about your motorcycle is going to help you in your riding significantly. Southern California 21 RGS. Weather finally great again here. Yeah. Yeah, TM, I don't know if you made that comment to like make me jealous or not, but it worked. So it's like 45 and pouring down rain here, man. Definitely enjoy that weather. I wish man, we got so long to go before we have good weather here in Illinois. It's ridiculous. I'm counting down the days already. Put a Road Glide fairing on a Road King. I guess if you wanted to spend enough money, yeah, you can pretty much put anything on there, but there's no Road Glide fairing kit that I know of. So Road Kings, like you see the Street Glide fairings that are on Road Kings, it's not a true Street Glide fairing. It's basically shaped like a Street Glide fairing, like the Batwing fairing, but it's just clipped on to like where you would normally put your quick detach windshield. So it's a very lightweight kind of fairing that's held up by those 4 windshield bolts. The Road Glide one, I don't think I've ever seen one that was shaped like a Road Glide. And if it, definitely the front of the frame where the Road Glide fairing bolts on would definitely not be the same. So I don't know right offhand of a Road Glide fairing out there that's like a direct bolt on for a Road King. I have a lot of guys that have like the 13 down Road Glide that are wanting to upgrade it to the 15 and newer Road Glide fairing. And from what I've heard or talked to other people, it's definitely possible to do, but it's very expensive. No, so Nick, Bob LaRusso, I don't know if I'm saying that right, is no longer doing Fix My Hog videos. No, so I haven't actually watched a Fix My Hog video in years and years and years. And I think 4 or 5 years ago, I actually paid those guys money to watch one single freaking video because I was having trouble with the bike and I thought that their video was going to kind of lead me in the right direction, and it did not. So I ended up spending a bunch of money that I didn't need to. But I will say this, the Fix My Hog videos are good videos. Even like I get pissed when I see a video on YouTube by them and it's just like a 2-minute sub clip of it. Oh, if you want to watch the rest of this, kind of like the Ryan Erlacher thing that he does, drives me insane. You think you found the answer and you get 2 minutes in the video. If you want to watch the rest of this, pay us $14.99 over on our Secret Squirrel website and we'll let you watch it. And we'll teach you how to do it. Ah, that pisses me off. But I see them do that too. And but I'll have to say this. I think I paid for the Fix My Hog. You don't just pay for one video. Like, you got to buy a month or something like that. And whatever it was, I did. And I ended up watching the one video. And I picked through a couple of his other videos, and great camera work. They don't skip anything, you know. So like that's another great place. If you can't find it on YouTube, those guys definitely, you just have to pay for it. Can't be mad at them for that though either. Man, that's how they make their money. So first YouTube channel I found. Yeah, so yes, we used to do a ton of Advan Black stuff here on our Sick Bagger YouTube channel, and then I think we were at AIM Expo in Ohio. We were set up there, and we were kind of kicking around the idea of doing like a separate channel, so I could keep like the Advan Black stuff, just strictly Advan Black stuff, and then this channel, like we still do. We did this whole 10 swap on my channel. It was all Advan Black, so we still do a little bit here. But I try to keep it, everything on it. It's just easier to find for everybody. Corey, okay, she messaged me on Facebook Messenger. I'll check it out as soon as we get off here, and I'll figure that out. Heated seats in back for touring bikes for those of us. Yeah, so we talked about doing some heated seats a couple of years ago, and nothing ever came out of it. So that's definitely something I can ask again. We can get our designers, because we do have some new seats coming out. Advan Black, we have a couple of seats now, but we got some new touring seats coming out, and a Softail 2-piece seat. So we've got that coming out. Memphis Shades RG fairing for a Road King. Yeah, check out Memphis Shades. If they have something like that, definitely. Like Memphis Shades been around for a long time. They've got their stuff together. Yeah, yeah, 30. So Chicago, yeah, lived up there for a long time. Not in Chicago, but just south of Chicago. I was a correctional officer up there for 12 years. I was a correctional officer for the state of Illinois for 12 years and lived up that way. And weather up there sucked pretty much all the time. And I'm from Southern Illinois, so after I quit that job, I came back down here and just kind of started over. Laidlaw has a video. Actually, one of the guys from Advan Black just went to Laidlaw today and bought a motorcycle, so that's pretty cool. Matt hooked him up with a 2023. Great channel. Excellent how-to. Thank you, TM. I appreciate you. Yeah, so hopefully we will get to the Bikes, Blues, and Barbecues in Arkansas. We were talking about that earlier. That's definitely one that's been on my bucket list for a long time. I want to get down there. An FXRT style fairing for Road Kings. That'd be pretty cool. Yeah, and I'd trust Memphis Shade stuff too, man. They're good stuff. Hey, thanks for stopping, Scott. I appreciate it, man. And be safe out there, buddy. I'm going to leave this live on, but I got to go check that phone to make sure that wasn't an Advan Black call, and I'll be right back. Update on the batteries from Advan Black. I do not. We talked about that a little bit earlier, but we do not have an update on the batteries as of yet. I have not got the new prototype to test yet. So, but we're still working on it. We haven't ditched it yet. So, but I'm gonna be right back. If you guys hang out there just for just a minute, I'm gonna go check that phone call because I am still working. So I got to make sure that wasn't a call for one of my Advan Black customers. All right, I'm back. Sorry about that. So glad I looked too, because my batteries were going dead in here in my thing. Joliet State Book. Can you guys hear me? First off, I think it's still on. Hello? Can you hear me? Okay, cool. So Joliet State Village is asking what prison I worked at. I worked up at Pontiac Maximum Security. Did do several shakedowns up at Statesville though. I tried to get transferred down here to Menard Correctional Facility, maximum security down here. And at the time, oh, you live in Morris, yeah, so very close. I lived in Pontiac for a while, and then I lived in, I don't know, man, some little town called Fairbury. And then I lived in Bloomington for a while, and then back to Pontiac until I moved back down here. But yeah, so like my background as far as jobs go, you know, a lot of people think that I've just done this my whole life. Now, I have worked on bikes pretty much my whole life. I mean, I started riding motorcycles when I was like 7, so it's always been in my life. But like I, fresh out of high school, went in the Army because I was dense, didn't know anything, didn't have any skills, you know. So went in the Army, did that, got out of that, became a correctional officer. Did that for a long time. And then moved back to Southern Illinois, did construction for a little while. That's another spam call. Yeah, did construction for a little while, and started working at the post office. I was a city carrier for the post office here in town for about 6 years. But when I was at the post office, I was actually starting to work with Advan Black and starting the shop and working on everybody's bikes around here. We had a few bike shops around here outside of Harley, just indie shops, and they all pretty much shut down. One guy retired. One guy, it was just kind of a side gig for him. He had a mechanic. He didn't even do anything with it. He just was kind of there. And he ended up shutting down. So this kind of became more of a full-time thing. And then the Advan Black is a full-time thing. So I started working with them right at 7 years ago. So I've been with them for pretty much from the beginning when they first started. That's just a little background on me. Jack of all trades and master of nothing. I hate that these comments keep going away. Would I consider this my dream job? Absolutely. Absolutely. So this is one thing that I've always done in the background and always loved it. You know how like when you do something kind of for fun, it's cool, but then when you have to start doing it to make a living, it turns into work, and then you just don't, it's not as exciting or whatever. With this job, it's not like that, man. Like I do a lot of side stuff too. That's how, like, I knew how to edit videos and all this crap because I've built websites and stuff in the past. I still maintain and build some websites now for local people. And that turned out as I got way over my head with that. I liked doing that stuff, and then I started taking on paying jobs, and then I hated it. All of the graphic design stuff that you see for Advan Black, I make. I don't do all of the photography. We do have some people that do some photography on other bikes, and then I just use those images. But I've been doing that stuff. They're not the best. I mean, I never went to school for any of that stuff. I just always did it. Made logos for people. But it, like I said, it turned into work, and then I didn't like doing it anymore. So, but with this job, absolutely, every day is pretty amazing. You know, you get you get some parts. Some companies that I work with, I guess, and I run into that a lot with, let's just say for Advan Black customers, because those are the ones that I deal with. Toby, what's up? Toby Martinez from Southern Illinois, best welder in the United States, from what I heard. Thanks for coming on, Toby. Appreciate you, brother. But like, just say for instance, the Advan Black stuff. You know, if a part goes out that gets damaged or whatever in the mail, because we do ship everything, so you know, I mean, chances it happens sometimes. If a color goes out that's a little bit off, you know, is the company going to fix the issue? Right? We all know shit happens with everything. You can go buy a freaking, I've got a brand new refrigerator in there that's on the brink. It's less than a year old, $1,700, piece of shit. It happens. When I called that company, they were like, oh, well, you only had a 1-year warranty. I'm like, oh, cool. So, you know what I mean? So stuff happens. So when things happen in the motorcycle industry or with motorcycle parts, is the company that you bought it from, are they going to fix the issue? You know what I mean? So that's what counts. We can go back a couple of years to dealing with some air ride people that I used to deal with that just turned into a shit show, and I ended up dumping them, man. It just wasn't worth the issue. They weren't taking care of the issues, whatever the case may be. But so, like, I guess my point behind that is there are some days that, you know, suck, whatever, you know, not everything goes your way, and every part that you get in that you've been waiting on comes in and it's perfect and pristine, and you can throw it at your motorcycle and it installs itself, and you know, there's nothing that you need to do or modify or whatever. You know, there's bad days, but for the majority of it, I love this job, man. I absolutely love working for Advan Black. Those guys, they're super cool. You know, everything that we've done, as much as I've seen this company grow in the last 7 years, it just blows my mind. When I first started with them, of course, it's like with any new company that's starting up, is like, is this going to go good? You know, you don't know. But the idea behind it was spot on, because all of the parts that before Advan Black came out, all of the parts that we got in to do to work on these motorcycles, you had to find a painter, right? We've got maybe two painters here in Southern Illinois that paint motorcycle parts. And let me tell you something, like, one of the guys is really good, but he owns an auto body shop, right? So he works on cars. So if you take a fender in there to get it painted, and he's got 3 $9,000 insurance jobs sitting over there, well, guess who's going to get done first and who's going to get done last? That fender is going to go on a shelf for a couple of months. So it was always an issue finding a painter and being able to get the parts painted and put back on the bike. And so the concept behind Advan Black was, I had no doubt that it was going to do well, because that's one of the biggest things about aftermarket painted parts, is you couldn't find them painted. You can find vivid black stuff all day long, you know, Amazon, eBay. But you got to watch that stuff too. A lot of that stuff, I mean, it is what it is. I'm not going to sit here, I'm not a big fan of bashing other companies and parts and all that stuff, but you have to remember, I see a lot of it in the forums, and I got my black tour pack from Amazon for $200, and it is what it is. So when that thing's all scratched up because the clear coat's cheap and shitty and your hardware starts falling apart and all that shit, well, you bought a $200 tour pack. So you just got to keep that in mind, you know what I mean? And we all don't have the same budget too, you know? So I don't bash anybody for buying a $200 tour pack or lowers or whatever, because your bike's vivid black and they're all over the place, Amazon and eBay. I don't bash those guys. It is what it is, man. We all can't afford everything. There's shit I can't afford, you know? So we're all in the same boat. We all work for a living, most of us, I guess. 99% of us, you know? So, so Advan Black. So when's Advan Black going to come out with a stretch fuel tank cover for Road King Special? So right now, as we speak, I'm looking for a local Road King 2014 and newer to do a stretch tank cover on. It is done. The prototype is done. Let me back that up. The prototype is done, and I am still trying to find a bike in my area to put it on to test it. The issue that I'm running in with, there's not a lot of Road Kings around here, A, and then the second thing I'm dealing with is tank badges. So we know the tank badges have to come off to do a stretch tank cover. And so those, in order for me to get a bike in here and say, hey, I have to pull your tank badges just to test this, you know, I've had a couple people are like, nah, hell no. I don't blame them. I ain't mad at them. And another thing too, like I think the stretched, if I turn this, I think the stretch tank and the stretch side covers and the stretch bags, they all kind of go together, right? So I don't, unless they already have stretch side covers and stretch bags, then they might be like, yeah, pull my tank badges and put the cover on because it all goes together. But that's kind of the issue I'm running into right now. I'm having a hard time finding a freaking bike to test it on. And our local HD is super cool about letting me borrow bikes, but they're not super cool about letting me borrow bikes and start ripping tank badges off. It's kind of where I'm at on that. So with this, so Ricky, you're in Elgin. Okay, you're not too far from me. And you already have the side covers and you already have the stretch bags. And that's exactly what I'm looking for, man. So if you want, hit me up on Messenger, on Facebook, or if you don't have Facebook, hit me up on, well, if you're talking to Eddie, you more than likely have Facebook. But hit me up on there or get up with Eddie. As a matter of fact, if you want to message Eddie and tell him to give you my direct phone number, and then you can give me a call, okay? Sorry, I'm not going to toss out my phone number on YouTube, but if you want, Ricky Bobby 8711, hit me up, man. For sure, we'll get something worked out because my boss has been up my butt about finding one, and it's been hard. Not up my butt in a bad way, but you know, we got a prototype ready to go, and it's hard to find a bike. The prototypes have to be test fit on the bikes before we release them. We get the stuff back from the mold, and we like to test fit it on several bikes if we can. But if we can get one bike in here just to test fit something on, that makes all the world, man. If we know it fits, we start selling it. So you're going to see a lot of parts coming out for the lowrider here soon too. We're kind of dipping off into that just because, like I said earlier, a lot of the bagger stuff we're kind of, I mean, we've covered the whole bike, you know. So I don't know how much more bagger stuff we'll do. We did come out with this new rear end that's on this bike. But it's all fiberglass too, and that's, like I said before, it's going to be made to order, not paint to order. It's going to be made and painted to order, so a little bit more lead time on a kit like that. Let me pause 1 second. I think somebody's at the shop. Nope, fiber optic. So they are, I live out in BFE, outside of town, and we do not have cable internet out here. We have Frontier telephone crap, and it sucks. And they're running fiber optic through our front yard as we speak. They've came down the whole highway this week, so, but that's what they're doing now. I think they just unloaded a tractor. Yeah, so, man, if you guys have any other questions, you know, or anything you guys want to BS about or anything, let me know. I will be having to get off here pretty soon, but I'll try to schedule one of these for like next week, but I'll schedule it so maybe more people can join. We've had 40 to 50 people in here. Pretty good turnout for just a spontaneous little thing, but I only planned on doing 1 hour, and we're working on an hour and 53 minutes now, and then maybe 10 or 15 minutes on the first one that failed because I'm a dumbass and can't figure out YouTube. Trying to scroll back, make sure I didn't miss anything. Or hell, any questions about us or me and the wife or Jeff Renfro? Who the hell's that guy? So Jeff's on here, and some of you probably met Jeff if you went to Sturgis. He's the guy I went to Sturgis with. One of my best friends here in Southern Illinois. Great mechanic as well. Talk once I get my bike back doing the stage 2. I'm going to home. I'm walking until high. Sturgis. Yes, we will be going to Sturgis this year. I don't know about Milwaukee. Probably, like I said earlier, we're Am I here? My channel just wigged out again, so let me know if you can hear me. This is what it did last time, and it completely dropped me. Okay. I don't know what the hell happened. It just spins out and says I'm not connected. We are trying to go to Daytona. That's up in the air for see if my surgery is going to be during that week or not. But Jeff Renfro, the guy there, we went to Sturgis with him last year, and we're going to try and go again this year. I don't think it's going to be any issue. That's one that I really like going to. So Ricky, if it's your first time going, so last year was my first time going. I've been doing this forever. Never been to Sturgis. Jeff had went the year before with his son, and then we went last year. And I'll tell you, like I said earlier, when it comes to the rally part, like the vendors and all that, it's all the same. Same vendors, whether doesn't matter. But the riding, holy shit. The riding out there is, you'll never ride anywhere else like that, I don't think. Some of the best riding I've ever did. Laconia, I don't think I'll be doing that one this year. No. Probably just Daytona and Sturgis this year. Is it possible to get a King Tour Pack with the backrest from a chopped Tour Pack on it from Advan Black? Yes, so you can do that. But you have to call that order in because everything on the website is set up for a King Tour Pack automatically comes with the wraparound backrest. So that is drilled out differently than the wraparound. And if you buy the King Tour Pack drilled out for the wraparound and then you try to put the small one on it, you can do that, but you have to drill new holes. But what you're left with is 2 holes out on the outside corner, and you don't want that. So you can call Advan Black and just say, hey, I want the king pack, but I want, so tour packs, the lids are the same on all three sizes. The lid does not change. Only the placement of the holes for the backrest changes. The lid's exactly the same. So only the base just gets deeper from the razor to the chop, the king. So you can call and just say, hey, I want the king tour pack, but I want, like, just say the chopper or the razor lid with the small backrest. And they can order that. They can set that up for you. Hand guards for a 2010 Ultra. Well, I don't know. I don't know why they wouldn't fit on a 2010 Ultra. The hand guards just go on the mirror holes. So I'll have to look into that for you. Picking up a 22 CBO Road Glide on the weekend, steel blue. 22 CBO, that's a nice bike. And the steel blue is a cool color, man. Congrats for you, Kevin. That's awesome. Yeah. Make sure to post some pictures of it too, man. Yeah, like Jeff said, if you're planning on going to Sturgis, man, book now. Or like as soon as January 1st rolls over, start booking. This year will probably be even worse because this is the 120th anniversary for Harley Davidson, and it'll be freaking packed. Like when we went last year, everybody kept telling us that it was kind of slow, and I was like, you people are insane. This is the most people I've ever seen in my freaking life in one spot. And they're like, oh, this ain't shit. Like for the 100-year anniversary, Daytona was just slammed. So they totally expect this year, being the 120th year, to be super slammed too. So if you're wanting to go, make sure you book your campsite, whatever, cabin, hotel, whatever you're doing, get it booked now. Advan Black will have a booth at Sturgis. Eddie does our booths now. He did Sturgis last year. He's doing Daytona and Sturgis this year. So they will have a booth. And of course we go there. We do a lot of riding, but we do go there quite a bit, you know, off and on during the day, and in the evening we'll stop by the tent and, you know, talk to people and stuff. So we try to always go to like the Tab Performance tent, Zero 3D tent, Advan Black, Trask, these guys, Torque Clothing. We stop by their tents. We always try to stop by the booths that we work with the people. Will a trike fit on the lift? Yes. So this lift that we have back here is set up for a trike. It has the side panels on it. Let me see if I can. Oh, I just kicked my damn camera. Let me downsize my comments here. So this one, if you can see the panels, you've got the side panels on here. So I can pull a trike up on this one. If you can see the back, it has the ramp for all three pieces come off. It's actually three pieces. And these side panels come off too. So it's set up for me to put a trike on there. I've had trikes on there, freewheelers, just about everything. So it's a 1,500 pound, cannot remember the brand name. I don't know. There's the thing of it is with these lifts, if you look for the 1,500 pound lifts outside of the Harbor Freight one, these lifts they all pretty much are all the same. The thing of there's 7 or 8 companies that sell these lifts that are like this, and you want to look for one that will deliver to residential if that's where you're wanting it at your house. Some of them won't. Some of them require you to deliver it to a business with a dock, or somewhere with a forklift because they are heavy. So There's a few of them though that will deliver to residential, and what they have is a Tommy gate on the back of a diesel. So get some buddies. Unless you can drop it right outside your garage, like our shop is behind our house, like way far back behind it. So if they pull in here to drop something on a Tommy gate or Tommy lift, whatever the hell you call them, they drop it right there in front of the house, and then I have to get it back here. So, and I don't have fresh out of forklifts, so they're heavy. So, you pretty much don't have any. You don't have to do anything to them though. They're ready. Just set them up, check your air fittings and stuff, and start using it. But just check the companies that are. You can just Google it, and like 10 companies will come up. But they're worth the money, man. I leave my side panels on all the time. I don't ever take them off because they make great places to put your tools and shit. And I'm not like always turning around trying to find something. Everything is right there. So now I will, if I'm working on the back of the bike, I'll take the ramps off. But the side, they just pull off. But the side pieces, they got bars and pins and all kinds of crap. They're kind of a pain in the ass to do by yourself. So like I said, I just leave them on there. But I love that lift. That thing has saved my back so much. Some land out there going to let us camp out. Do we need to buy tickets or something to be able to get in? Right? No, you don't have to buy any. You don't have to buy anything to go into Sturgis. You like to go up into some of the parks, some of the state parks. Yeah, Jeff's answering there. No tickets, takes 5 solid days to ride everything. Yeah, and I think the only thing we had to pay for was to get like an armband. But once you have that armband, you could ride any of the parks. Like, help me out there, Jeff. I can't remember where all the freaking ginormous ass buffalo and stuff were. To ride through, they're all state parks. So, yeah, Custard, thank you. But like to ride through those, you pull up into a line and you have to pay to like ride through there. But if you just pay for the armband, then if you go back or if you go to a different one, you just drive into another lane and you raise your arm up and they just flag you through. So you don't have to sit in that line anymore. So if you go to Sturgis for Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday, if you really want to ride, don't waste a whole lot of time at the vendors, because you will never, like we were out there for the entire rally and we still didn't get to ride places that we wanted to. We'll ride them this year, but you get a plan. Like the night before, me and Jeff, we'd sit down and make a plan. This is what we're going to ride tomorrow. So, but it doesn't always go that way. You know what I mean? Like you may end up spending more time, like we spent more time in Deadwood than we thought we were going to. Deadwood was the highlight of my whole trip. I don't know what it was about that town. That town was cool as hell. We went there a few times. And then the one time to get my tire fixed that I was not happy about. But that, screws up your day. So then tomorrow you got to ride what you were going to ride today or whatever. So if you're going to go there, find the map. They had maps everywhere that had kind of like, they were penciled out in different colors, like certain rides, and it would tell you how long, the ride was or whatever. Just pick out a couple and do them, man. Like I said, unless if there's something specific that you're looking for from like a vendor or something, hit them vendors up and get the hell out of there. Go on the rides. Sturgis is all about the rides, man. The vendors you can go home and order that shit online. Some of them have discounts, a little bit of a discount for buying it at a rally or whatever, but, or maybe you want to get something installed at the rally. Yeah, Devil's Tower was quite a ways away, and Badlands we didn't get to do. Now, we're going to do that this year, but I think, what was it, Jeff, like 2 hours from Sturgis, Badlands? And Devil's Tower was too. It was a pretty good drive. Would be interested to have a live chat on tools you use, brands, special tools. Yeah, so, yeah, we can do that. Let's set that up for next week. We can start that out. Because once, man, if I get into tools, we're another 2 hours into this live stream. There's a, let's see. Yes, we can do that, Joe. That's a good idea, man. We'll start next week's out, and I'll schedule that one next week instead of just this spontaneous crap. Just because it was raining and I was bored, and I haven't been on YouTube in a couple of months, and I'm starting to get emails and people want to know if I'm still alive. So, but yeah, so that's the difference just between going to Daytona and going to Sturgis. Same vendors, same people, same shit, but you go to Daytona and there's not very many places to ride. The traffic is horrible. Everything's in town, in Daytona, so the traffic is just insane. It's cold. There's like a 198% chance it's going to rain in the next 5 minutes, like all the time. It's lost its luster just going a few times. I don't care for it. We don't party, so like I think if you're going to Daytona and you wanted to party, hell yeah, Daytona is the place to do it. But if you're just going for like the rally and the scenic riding, which there's none. I mean, you can ride down A1A or whatever, which is like an hour and a half away just to get to A1A, which rides down the coast of the ocean and just through a bunch of small little towns. That's kind of cool, but it's almost always raining on A1A. Like you can go 45 minutes, what is that? I guess it'd be west, and get on the interstate and it's not raining. But if you go down A1A, it's freaking pouring. Like we got soaked. I was so pissed that day. We got so wet. 2 hours of just nonstop pouring down rain. So that's not something I look forward to. And like I said, the vendors are split up there. Half of them are at the racetrack and half of them are at Rossmeyer Harley Davidson. Yeah, so Daniel said he has the Derek Weaver lift. And mine's not a Derek Weaver, and I can't remember the damn name of the lift, but it's a very popular lift. I just can't, I'm brain farting right now. But it's almost identical. Like it's almost identical. So when you start looking at those lifts, I mean, you're going to like A+ total lifts, and I can remember that one, but not the name of mine. So there you go. Mine's flipping. But you start going to those and you start looking at them, and they all kind of start looking the same. You just kind of look at the price and make sure that they deliver residential. And then also that the front bar up there, you need one of those like that spins, which you tighten up on the wheel. It's not a chalk like you put in your trailer, and you actually crunch that. And this thing will actually hold this bike up. Like I can crank that thing down with the kickstand up. Now, I'm not saying it's super stable, but if you've ever put a bike on a lift by yourself, when you put that on there, when you drive it on there, you have to get off the bike and hold that thing straight. So I just kind of hang on to the handlebars, shimmy around to the front, crank that front wheel down tight, and I can let go of the bike. Then I can put my jack under it and stabilize it, or just like I have it now, I just have it sitting on the center stand. But if you don't have a center stand, you just have a kickstand. You've got to get a jack like that little guy there. But some of the kits have jacks, and they have that, you know, and they have the side panels. You can get it with the side panels, without the side panels. I highly recommend the side panels. It's worth the extra $200 or $300. If you're going to buy one, just get one with the side panels. Yeah, Derek Weaver, he's been around for a long time. They're solid lifts. All right, Kevin, it was good to see you, man. Thanks for stopping by and hanging out with us, dude. So yeah, you can put the kickstand down on the lift. I don't I Yeah, I mean, I guess you can. I like to have them upright when they're on a lift though, to work on them. Having the bike standing upright when you lift the bike up makes it more stable when you got the wheel chalked and you've got a small jack under it and you got everything straight and not leaning. It makes working on the bike a lot easier. But yeah, you can lean it over and put it on the kickstand. But then you've got to, if you want to put it in the wheel chalk, you got to stand it back up. So I just try to get it in the chalk while I already have it up, because I'm old and fat and I don't want to pick that goddamn bike up. So um, Jeff said, do you mind if people see you at a rally come up and say hello? Absolutely not. I recommend people coming up and saying hello. We at Daytona, um, we did a couple of meet and greets, what they call them, with Ciro 3D, and we did one at the Advan Black tent, where because we're kind of all over the place, because we're there for the rally too, so we want to ride and all that. But the meet and greets were kind of cool because it let everybody know that we were going to be at this specific location at this time. So if you wanted to stop by to say hello, and I had never done them before, and you can ask Jeff. I was telling Jeff and my wife, and I was like, man, this is like, I don't know about this. I don't, you know what? They made a big deal out of it, and they're putting it all over social media. Come meet Steve and all this shit. And I'm like, dude, I'm just a guy with a freaking camera, man. I'm not anything special. Like, I don't look at myself as any, just a dude trying to help out other bikers, man. That's what it's all about, helping out other people. And then, like, I'm thinking, like, nobody's going to show up. I'm like, this is going to be embarrassing. Like, y'all made a big deal out of this shit. And then no one's going to be here. Hey, thanks for coming, Big Joe, man. Hey, let me know on that, though, too. We'll see you next week. We'll do the tool thing next week, buddy. I appreciate you. But as far as the meet and greet goes, it started out kind of slow. Like, I was like, nobody's coming to this. And then all of a sudden, there was a lot of people. But it was cool. It's very cool to get to meet people. And like I said before, we you guys all get to see us and on the videos and stuff, and we just see names, little names and little icons. We have no idea who's who, and people are come up and they're like, hey, Steve, and I'm like, hey, man, I don't know who you are. So it's cool to get to meet people that you've talked to on YouTube or helped out or whatever. So that's always neat. But yeah, the meet and greets are kind of neat. Other than that, man, if you see me out on the street, say hey. Like I was saying earlier, when we were in Sturgis, we ran into people at the most random ass places that I would have never thought. Somebody, you just pull in somewhere, BFE, and there's a picnic table with two people at it, and they know you. That was just weird. Not weird in a good way. Just, you don't expect it, but it's very cool. It's very humbling. Just to know that you help people. It's very cool. Thank you. I appreciate you guys. So yeah, man, I think I think we're about 2 hours, 20 minutes into this one. We're probably going to wrap this one up just because I was only supposed to do this for about an hour, but I had fun doing this with you guys today, hanging out, answering some questions and stuff. Once I finally got this phone thing figured out. So not too bad. I'm glad the microphone worked, because the last one I did on my phone, the microphone sucked. So glad that worked out. But yeah, so we'll do one of these probably same time next week. I don't even know what the hell day is. Wednesday? Maybe. Yeah, I appreciate you coming. I appreciate everybody that came. There's a lot of people that came and dipped out, and that's cool. I appreciate every one of you guys. I know I say that in probably every video, at the end of every video. I appreciate the hell out of every single one of you, and I do. You guys are awesome. I mean, this right here, I mean, this is what makes doing all the videos and spending all the time doing all this stuff makes it all worth it, you know? But I'll set one up. We'll post it on the Facebook group, and we'll go from there. We'll try this next week. We'll do the tools like Big Joe suggested. It won't take long to get through the tools, so we can do that and just talk about whatever. But I'm going to burn out. But I hope to see you guys in the next live. I'm going to do it. Hell yeah. Appreciate you, Steve. Thanks, Riggy. I'll be looking forward to hearing from you, man. We'll get that thing lined out. But I appreciate all of you guys. I'm going to get out of here. Until next video, as always, be safe. Keep your knees in the breeze.